kaiju, Dragon Ball, Pokemon, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hello there, collectors. It's Steven here, and welcome to another edition of
Figure Fight.
That's right, Figure Fight is making a return, and that is possible thanks to my patrons over on Patreon. That's right, this is the patrons pick for November 2018. So with that being said, this one needs to be hyped up. What do we have this time, folks? Well, we're gonna go back to old school with a figure fight between the NECA and MonsterArts Godzilla 1954. That's right, the Godzilla that started it all has been made by two different companies that fans always pit against each other whenever there's a release, and now's the time to throw down to see which company made the figure that is better for the collector at the end of the day. Now, not only is this match gonna be a toe-to-toe standoff in up to 5 different categories in total for Figure Fight, this one will have 4, but there will be a link to a poll in the description down below, so this way, collectors like you can take a fan vote to see which one you guys like more. Anyway, the rules of the figure fight are simple. We're going to keep everything as objective as possible, favoritism set aside because I actually do have a favorite between one or the other, and we're going to see which one wins in the figure fight.
Round 1.
Sculpt and Paint. Now, let me get something right out of the way here. This is not about accuracy to the source material. No, not exactly that. Because you see, you're going to have people who are bickering back and forth because the MonsterArts is really close to how the 1954 suit was originally created. But the NECA does have some redeeming qualities that do truly capture the feel of the original suit. But here, what we're going to be looking at are just a couple of simple facts. How well is the figure sculpted? How well is the figure painted, and are there any glaring quality control issues in that realm which detract from the overall look of the figure? And in both cases, well, this is a kind of difficult one to kind of go at. You see, when we take a look at, let's say, the MonsterArts, we see that it has a very nice sculpt, but it's actually pretty hard to make some of the details out from far away. Why? Bandai skipped out on a lot of paint applications and simply opted for a couple of sprays here and there on the knees, paint on the dorsal plates, and toenails. That's about it. Whereas the NECA has a fantastic blue wash to it to really enhance some of the details. Most of all the dorsal plates are painted. There are some on the neck which are not, but you know, that's okay. Nails are painted. Eyes, they're facing forward, not true to the character, but you know what, that's okay. But the problem is that proportionately, it's pretty bulky. It kind of looks like this Godzilla got stung by a bee. The sculpted details are also a little soft compared to the MonsterArts, which has really sharp detail to it. Everything looks like it's sculpted out of, I would have to even say something like resin, which is really cool to say. The MonsterArts, the detail's fantastic, but the NECA, it's really good as well. You see, kids, here is a situation where we simply have to say that one fighter isn't that much better than the other. The MonsterArts has amazing small details to it, but unfortunately, the paint application doesn't really do it any justice, whereas the NECA, yeah, it does look nice in the sculpt department, not nearly as nice as the MonsterArts, but the paint quality that is found here is really, really good, and it is impressive for this figure. Overall, I have to say, folks, this round is a tie.
Round 2.
Articulation. Well, whereas the last round there was no clear winner here, there is. When they go head-to-head, and that's actually a good place to start, we can definitely see that the MonsterArts takes the advantage right off the bat, where we have a ball-jointed jaw and multiple ball joints from the head leaning down to the body, whereas when it comes to the NECA, we simply just have a hinged trap jaw that opens and closes. Good enough clearance there. We have one ball joint for the neck where the head attaches into it, and then one ball joint for where the neck attaches into the body. Unfortunately, side to side is good. Up and down, could be better. To be honest with you, nowhere near as nice as the MonsterArts. Now, when it comes to the arm articulation, though, we do have ball-jointed shoulders for the MonsterArts, we do have a bicep swivel, and we do technically have a forearm swivel because those are going to be ball joints as well, which link together on a hinge for the elbow, and then we have ball-jointed wrists, which allow for fluid arm movement, and basically, there's going to be nothing that you can't use these ball joints and hinges for in terms of articulation. Now, when it comes to the NECA, we do have a ball-jointed shoulder. We do have a swivel where the elbow meets at the bicep there. We do have an elbow hinge singular there. We do have a ball-jointed wrist, and we do have, hinged fingers. So that's pretty cool. To be honest with you, the range is somewhat comparable. Not 100%. The NECA is just slightly behind, but to be honest with you, it is pretty good. Now, the SH MonsterArts does have an ab crunch and a waist joint, both ball joints, so this way you can wiggle Godzilla from side to side, have him lean forward and back. Twist and turning, unfortunately, not super amazing, but that's okay because there are plenty of other joints there to lift the dead weight there. However, when it comes to the NECA, we get one single ball joint for the ab crunch, which is actually also on a hinge that allows Godzilla to move forward and back significantly far, spin Godzilla around all the way, lean him from one side or the other. Basically, this one ball joint does all of the heavy lifting for the torso movement. However, it's just one single point. Moving on down, legs, of course. You see we have a ball-jointed hip system going on here, which is great for spreading his legs far or bringing them back together as much as you want. We do have a hinged knee system going on here, which includes swivels where they connect into both the thigh and the lower portion of the leg. We do have split ball joint in the shin calf area, so this way we get extended ankle rocker movement. This Godzilla's legs can move in almost any direction you would like. Now, when it comes to the NECA, however, we do have ball-jointed hips, which are okay, they're kind of restrictive, and then we do have the swivel hinged knees, which are very similar to how the elbow joints are structured. Essentially, there's a peg that plugs into the thigh, then there is a disc in the lower portion of the leg, they pop in together, and that's how you move Godzilla's knee around. Not that great. There is a ball joint for the ankle. Unfortunately, this Godzilla's legs is not moving too far. Now, when we bounce back over to the MonsterArts for the last time here, we're going to see that the tail is infinitely better. Basically, everything on this thing has a ball joint. You can get it in any pose that you wish. There is absolutely no contest here. When we switch back over to the NECA and see we only have a couple of ball joints coupled with a portion of the tail, which not only has a wire in it, but like I have always warned you folks, it will eventually tear through the rubber. And guess what? It actually happened right here during this segment. Yep, that's me recording it, so you get to see my live reaction there. Good on you, NECA. Anyway, comparing these two side by side, yes, the NECA may win in some categories in terms of articulation. Some may say that that ab crunch is much better, but when you add in all the joints together for the articulation, you can definitely see that the MonsterArts takes the cake here because the poses that the MonsterArts is able to strike, the dynamic ones that is, the NECA either really struggles to get to or doesn't even hope to achieve those because it just doesn't have the range of movement. In this, the MonsterArts bobs and weaves and lands a sucker punch on the NECA for a knockdown and a point.
Round 3.
Price. Usually I'd save this for the last, but we're going to go ahead and just give the NECA a point here because when it comes to price, the NECA is only about $20 at MSRP, whereas the SH MonsterArts, $77.99. That's right. If you want to get the MonsterArts at MSRP, of course, you're going to have to work at minimum wage for 10 hours. Yeah. You could either work for 10 hours or just get lucky one day and find a $20 bill in the parking lot of a major retailer chain. Which one wins here? The NECA.
Round 4.
Sizing. So for this one, it's a bit difficult. Why? Well, you see, folks, the SH MonsterArts line kind of sort of doesn't have its own scale, whereas NECA basically made a whole bunch of 6-inch scale Godzilla figures. This is where it doesn't get difficult. You see, Bandai decided to make the Showa figures in their own relative scale to each other in their own movie or collective sequels. That means that the MonsterArts Godzilla 1954 only scales with itself and it is small, whereas the NECA 1954 is a 6-inch scale Godzilla figure which has kept tradition throughout time since Bandai started the movie Monster series scale, and everyone has 6-inch scale Godzillas. Basically, if you're looking to get a Godzilla that will blend in really well with your other Godzillas uniformly, shoulder to shoulder to shoulder to shoulder, don't even think about the MonsterArts. The point goes to the NECA.
Final bell.
That's it, folks. That's the fight, scoring 2 points to the MonsterArts 1. The NECA wins the figure fight. There may have been a tie early on in terms of who actually looks better, because let's be honest here, sculpt, paint, and quality control combined create an overall different aesthetic experience for everyone, but when it comes down to it at the end of the day, the one that's going to be better for the overall collector is definitely going to be the NECA. It wins in more categories than the MonsterArts. Now, no, I'm not done. Let me finish. The NECA is a fantastic figure. At about $20, you're going to get a solid range of movement, as I showed you. It looks great, and best of all, it can sneak into basically any Godzilla display that you have. This is truly a contender that will be very, very welcomed in basically any kaiju collection. That being said, this video isn't to say that your favorite is the loser or is bad, okay? Why is that? Well, you see, folks, I actually prefer the MonsterArts 1954 to this one. Yeah, shocking, I know. Overall, I think the MonsterArts 1954 isn't the best Godzilla figure on the market, but I still like it. Just remember, the point of the figure fight is to see which is the better figure overall if you had to pick between one or the other in a couple of different core collectible figure categories. That being said, the NECA does take the champion title in this fight, and that is something it should be proud of. Now, with that being said, the figure fight is over, and of course, there are going to be people who want to voice their comments, so go ahead and drop a comment down below, or you can find me on social media, so maybe we can talk this over. Did the ref make a bad call, or maybe there was a point that was missed? Should the scales have been tipped a little bit? I don't know. But make sure you definitely check out my social media once again, and maybe think about heading on over to my Patreon to see some behind-the-scenes stuff, so this way you don't miss out on any of the action. Anyway, folks, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.